are once again, at the Forum, the place where we gather information and we disseminate it out to you, the public, you who listen, and also to Bonnie, who's furiously driving to go to the next thing she does from this morning. Boy, she's on a tear. Bonnie's a whirlwind. She goes here, does that, and does that, and does that, and does that. Bonnie, you need to go home. Stop and get at a candy store. Get some bonbons and go lay on the couch, turn on the TV, and eat the bonbons and relax. I don't think that's going to happen. I don't think so. All right. I have with me today a guest, a friend. We still are friends, I think. Yeah.
Yes, we are.
We didn't screw up yet.
No, we're good. We're good.
All right.
We're good.
James Butler. And James has been around I don't want to say around for a long time, makes him sound old. I'm the old one. You're the younger one.
Yeah, exactly.
James wins the award for the best dressed marketer in 2 counties in the Treasure Coast. And as you can see today, he's got a great suit on, really good matching tie or shirt, and a bow tie.
Thank you very much, Pat.
Have you started wearing bow ties lately?
Well, I've always had them, Pat, but it's special occasions.
Oh, well, I don't want you to define special.
And I won't, okay?
Thank you. James has been in the healthcare field for quite a long time. What about your background? I know you have quite a neat background. Let's start.
Yeah.
I know that you were born at a very early age.
Yes, Pat. Well,
where'd you grow up?
I grew up in Maryland, a little place called is Southern Maryland, St. Mary's County. It was the country. It was the country. It was probably, I would say, the best upbringing that I could have had.
Really?
We were in a really nice, diverse community. I spent my summers on a farm with my grandmother. And so there on the farm, we had so many different animals. We had our own chores. But when you look at it from the standpoint of how you enjoyed your life, we were on 368 acres of land.
Oh.
And we were backed up right to the Patuxent River. So we had our own beach to go to.
Beautiful.
And when I say our own beach, yeah, there were only 3 families that used that beach.
Crops or livestock?
Crops. Mainly it was corn and soybean.
Oh, okay.
And what we did, we leased out, I think we had probably about 6 different fields, and we leased it out to other farmers in the area.
Excellent.
So, growing up, we learned the whole perspective of quality work. And that's where I'll say it started for me. Every morning waking up at my grandmother's house at 6:30 in the morning, going out into our family garden to pick the vegetables and everything, brought them back up, cleaned them, and then the rest of the day was to ourselves.
When I was 11, 12 years old, on a Saturday, we'd go down to the store at about 5:30 in the morning, and the truck would come.
Mm-hmm.
And we'd all get on the truck, and they'd take us out to the fields, and we'd pick tomatoes, we'd pick, whatever we needed to pick for the day, and we got paid by the weight.
Yeah. Yeah.
Maybe 40 cents.
Well, we didn't get paid from a money standpoint. It was really the experience and the food.
And the food, right. And
that's what
just
it was.
Prayed that there wasn't a blight or a drought.
Yeah.
To screw up the crop.
Yeah.
Right?
And, but even still with us down there, we had the other fields,
You had money coming in.
We had money coming in. And we were able to assist other families with some of the vegetables that we grew from our garden. My grandmother and my grandfather were very giving in terms of supporting the community. And even still, we had the hogs and we had the chickens and everything down there on there. And that's when you had real food.
Right,
okay?
right.
Nothing with anything added to them. So
and you had the chickens and their eggs.
Yep, and the eggs and everything. So it was a great lifestyle that we had. And then, after that, I moved to Baltimore, and my family, we opened a place called Just Burgers at the Inner Harbor. When the Inner Harbor first opened, we were one of the first vendors in there. And so then got married to my wonderful wife, and we've been married now for more than 28 years.
Wow.
So it's been a great experience. And we moved here to Florida in 2003, and we lived in Coconut Creek for a while, and then we came to Port St. Lucie, where we are really thoroughly enjoying ourselves, and we just have a good time. We have a good time.
My in-laws still live in Stewart, and when we were working up north, I was at a college,
Hmm.
and we had spring break. We'd always come down and spend like 2 days with them and travel around Florida and come back and spend a couple of days, then go home.
Yeah.
And we were looking for future places to live. And no matter where we went, we kept coming back to Port St. Lucie.
Yeah.
This is nicer. Then finally we bought a house. My criteria was I wanted a house with a pool and fruit trees
All right.
because we didn't have a pool and fruit trees.
Okay.
So we ended up with one for about 10 years, right across the street from the academy.
Okay. Okay.
And after that, we thought you're spending all this money for mowing and trimming and sewer and da. It's time for condo.
Okay.
So we moved into a condo which is behind. It's the juncture of Linmore and Leonard Road.
Okay.
There's an apartment complex there,
Okay.
Palm Grove or whatever,
I'm not sure. Okay.
and you can see our buildings behind it. We have
Okay.
townhouse.
Okay. Okay.
So we finally settled into a
Very good.
townhouse situation, but we kept coming back to this area. It's different.
Oh, it's definitely different, Pat. It seems like every year or every other year, there's something that comes out in a report that's nationally put out where Port St. Lucie may be one of the fastest growing cities in the country. It may be the safest city in the country, and different things
Yeah.
that make it what it is. It's a great place to live. My wife and I thoroughly enjoy it. We enjoy the people. We've made great friends moving here. We found a church home. Everything has
Same
fallen
with
into
us.
place for us.
Well, we came down because we wanted to finish our work experience. Plus, I had to rent a kid.
Mhm.
Okay, and he was 6 when I remarried, and we decided that we would stay through his high school time.
Mhm.
So we lived up north, Western New York, the other New York, Western.
Okay.
Buffalo, Rochester,
Oh,
snowstorms. Oh no, way further to
oh wow.
west,
Okay.
right on the crux of Lake Erie and Lake Ontario.
Oh gosh, that's cold area.
Yeah, no. I tell this story all the time. It was about March one year, and I was telling my friend, geez, I said, we had 10 snowstorms. He said, no, we only had 3. I said, what were the other 7? He said, lake effect. Because when the winds came across the lake, it picked up moisture. As soon as it hit land, it dumped it in the form of snow. I said, well, tell the difference to my snowboard. All I know, there was 3 feet of snow out there in the morning. I don't care what you call it.
Yeah, it was still snow.
But anyway, we stayed up north until we made the move. And I didn't want to retire and go somewhere brand new. I didn't want to go to Phoenix, like Flagstaff, Arizona, and not know where the grocery store was.
Right. I
Not
understand.
knowing anyone. So we came down here, and we end up with a whole bunch of friends, and it's been a 30-year.
Yeah. Oh man, that's
30-year
great. It's great.
adventure for us.
Yeah.
And I love this area. Especially, I have been blessed. I have to say this. I have been blessed with the number of people that I have met,
Yes, sir.
and the number of people that I know, and even the number of people that I've helped.
Yeah.
And I only do it for one reason only.
Mhm.
It needs to be done.
Absolutely.
I mean, I had my glory with teaching. I lectured throughout the East Coast and published some stuff and a little book and things like that.
Yeah.
And that was another life.
Yeah.
When I came to Florida, I didn't live that life at all. And all I wanted, I'm a trained speech language pathologist. I don't know if
Okay.
you know that.
No, I did not know that. Pat.
And all I wanted to do was therapy.
Okay.
Well, I come down here and I got to be a rehab director. And then I did this and that and the administrative stuff. I guess I'm good at that because that's where I end up being shoved,
Okay. And you don't take any crap from anyone.
I try not to. I do it with a smile.
Yes, you do.
I've learned how to smile.
All the time.
Well, there are those people, and I really feel sorry for some people I know that are so sad.
Mhm.
They're not enjoying their lives. They're not
Yeah.
enjoying the sun. They're not enjoying the things. They wake up in the morning. There's a cute expression. Live every day as if it's the last day of your life, because one day you're going to be right.
That's right. Absolutely. Because we are not, none of us are going to get out of this alive.
No, and it's George Bernard Shaw, Man and Superman. The death process begins at birth.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's a little bit of a negative viewpoint.
But I'll tell you, the main thing about I can say the way that I like to live my life is I enjoy helping people. I genuinely do. I make sure that I have a good day no matter what. I'm always going to smile at someone. I'm always going to try to assist because for me, the first thing for me every day, according to my Lord, is that we love one another.
Yeah.
Okay. And that's the main thing.
I think that's the whole point. When you look at his son's book, the whole thing is loving one another.
Absolutely.
That's and helping one another. See, I have this weird feeling about Judgment Day. I was raised in a church. They made a lot of big deal about Judgment Day.
Yeah.
You walk down the hallway and all the angels are singing. God's sitting in his pedestal way up, and he's got this huge book. And he opens the book and says, James, why did you do this? Why did you do that? I don't think that's it. I think you walk into an office. There's a desk and a guy sitting behind the desk. And he's got a pair of Dockers on and a Tommy shirt. He says, hi, I'm God. Sit down. So you sit down. He says, I have one question for you to see whether I can allow you to come into heaven. And the question is this. What have you done to help your fellow man?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Because again, the whole New Testament is one of love and helping your neighbor and, and not putting foolish thoughts about your own material goods as opposed to helping someone.
Absolutely, Pat. And, I'll tell you, my philosophy for me to in this industry that I'm in, I've been doing it since 2007. And you cannot survive in this industry if you have a negative attitude. You must go into everything you do, first and foremost, with a positive attitude.
And you have to have a compassion for people.
And I tell people, if you're going to be in this industry, you must begin to think from your heart first. Once you start from your heart and you understand someone's situation and you know that you're able to assist them, use all the resources to your avail to help them.
Right.
Don't be afraid. Right. Don't be afraid to help.
Well, there's one big difference between you and me that I've discovered. I'm a little more hot-headed. You do it with a smile. I do it with raising my voice. And I've seen you smile, and I know. I know. Maybe others don't read it, but I read it.
Yes, I know that. But that's just the way it has to be done. I am not going to, chastise someone and be mean about it. My biggest thing is if I'm speaking to you about something that was done and it was improper, I'm just trying to show you why it was improper. And I'm trying to show you that it's not necessary. It doesn't take much to smile at someone, no matter what the situation is, Pat.
I'll give you a great example. I was finishing up a master's degree, and I had done a thesis. And it was kind of a revolutionary one. Nobody had ever traveled that path before. And we were down in the basement. I was sitting outside, and my committee was inside the room deciding whether I was going to get my master's degree. Whether this paper was worthy of my getting the degree. And I sat there. And it was about 40 minutes went by. And a friend of mine walked by and he said, what happened? I said, I'm waiting. He said, listen, 2 years from now, this won't mean, and he used an expletive.
Okay.
And I said, but it means something right now. Fine, I couldn't stand it. And I pounded on the door. And my advisor came to the door and she said, oh my God, we forgot you were out there.
Oh my God.
I said, what are you doing in there? She said, we're trying to work it to write it up for an article.
Oh, wow.
I said, I have some thoughts. But boy, that agony of that 40 minutes, I thought, oh my God, what are they do? They're putting wood around the stake and they're going to tie me to it and then light the fire.
But just the opposite is happening. And that's the big thing about situations like this. If you give it over and let our higher power help you, and assist you, and you give it to them and let it go, all good things will happen, Pat. And I
Listen,
think you've seen that.
I watch God Friended Me. I don't
Hmm.
know if you watch that
Yes,
program.
yes, I have.
I love that
Yeah.
program. And so now whenever anything happens, I call it a God moment.
Hmm.
When we were at, and I won't identify the person, but
Hmm.
we were at a senior network breakfast. I sat with a guy who was one of their higher ups in the company, and he was saying, "Well, this is really nice." And everything. I said, "This is a great place." I said, "A friend of mine, as a matter of fact, just came up before the meeting and said that she wasn't happy with her job and she was looking for a new job." And he said, "Well, what's she looking for?" And I said, "Marketing." He get this weird look on his face. He said, "Introduce me," and he hired her.
Wow.
This happened in Vero.
Yeah.
Lady showed up at one of our network breakfasts beforehand and was crying.
Mm.
I said, "Why? Well, I just moved up in the area and I'm a nurse. I can't find a job." I said, "Well, hang around afterwards. Talk to some people to give you some ideas." Following week, she called me. She said, "They hired me."
See,
You know,
there
and
you
those
go.
are God moments.
They
You
are.
have to be there at the right time. And, you know, if I'm offending anybody about talking about God, it's my opinion. And you can tell me about what you believe, and I'll listen and I'll respect you. But we have, and people call it coincidence.
Mm-mm.
And I'm not sure that, in fact, you read a lot, there are no coincidences.
No.
They're
No.
just things that happen. And if I can foster one person to get a job after, 20 years of doing this breakfast thing, it has been worth it.
Yes, absolutely,
It
Pat.
has been worth it.
You know, when we know things and we don't share them, we're not doing ourselves or our fellow man a service.
Yep.
We're just not doing it. And if you can pass on great information or give someone just a small crumb of opportunity and encouragement, it works.
Well, that's what I
It
do with my
works.
agency. I get calls, and I'm not a therapist, I'm not a licensed social worker, but I can give some advice
Yeah.
and some direction
Yeah.
to people. And normally I say, "Go here, do this, talk to so and so."
Yeah.
And some of the questions that I get, I mean, it shocks me
Hmm.
that nobody up to that point has ever explained anything to this person who
Right.
really needed an explanation months ago or years ago.
Absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
then the look on their face when you tell them something, or if I had given a talk at one of the communities in Hope Sound, and it was a dinner meeting thing. And I went through how to do some things at home with your loved one and stuff. And the guy came up to me and he had his wife with him. She had Alzheimer's. He said, "I want to tell you something." I thought, "Oh, God, what did I do now?" He said, "I've been doing everything wrong,
Hmm.
and I'm going to start doing what you suggested." I said, "Well, it may not be right." He said, "No, no, no. Listen to me." He said, "It will work. I know it will work, but I've been doing everything wrong."
Hmm.
And just that one little reinforcement,
There you go.
you know?
It gave him the
Yeah.
opportunity to know something different. And it's going to work because now he has that passion of making it work. And I'll tell you, um, I've learned a lot over the past, so many years of doing this. But as you know, Pat, of course, I work with the VNA now. That's my employer. That's who I work for, and I absolutely enjoy it. Knowing that the VNA is so involved in this community, being here for 44 years.
That's another thing that shocked me when you
Yeah.
told me that 44 years they've been in existence.
44 years. And I tell anyone, for 44 years, that means that the VNA was here when there were dirt roads.
Mhm.
When US 1 was probably just 2 lanes.
We
so
came when Port St. Lucie Boulevard was 2 lanes.
There
That
you
was
go.
30 years ago.
Right.
2 lanes and sand along the
Right.
sides.
And so I'm fortunate to work for an organization that's been here so long and helps the community. They help the community in so many different ways, and they don't do it from a boastful standpoint. They don't have to always just say what they do. They do what is necessary for the community, and then they move on.
Mhm.
That's what I love about them. It's not like they're patting themselves on the back every time they do something to help someone.
Well, when I heard that you were going to be working with VNA, I smiled thinking that's a good match.
Yeah.
Because you bring a dynamic to them that everyone should bring to them.
Thank you.
And it's
Thank
called
you.
a compassion.
Thank you.
and making a difference. And, I guess the height of your success would be some family member calling VNA and say, hey, James came over, he did a great job.
Yeah, that's it. That's it.
He really answered our questions, set up our procedures, and,
Well, Pat, I'm gonna tell you, this community and this industry in a whole, it's a competitive. It's so competitive in this industry. But I say to anyone, I'm not your competitor. I'm really not. You cannot do this the way that I do it. I don't do it the way you do it. But at the top of it all, it's all about the patient. It's all about the client. It's all about the family. Us doing what is necessary to get that family through whatever they're going through. That's what it's all about. And if I am not able to help them, I have to be willing to speak to someone who may do the same thing that I do. But the family needs something that this other company has. I have to be willing to put all of my other stuff aside and go to another company and say, look, this is who you need to talk to.
What makes me really feel good is, again, focusing on those breakfasts, because that's a focal part of what I do, and that's a focal part of the community. I love to see competitors sitting having breakfast together.
Right.
Typically, that won't happen.
Right.
In any other community.
Right. Absolutely.
Because the competitors are competitors.
Yes.
They take money from us if we don't do our job right, and we're not going to cooperate with them. And no, the whole point is, you lose sight of the fact that you're dealing with a patient, a human being. And maybe if you can't meet that human being's needs, I think you have an obligation to tell them to where they can find the relief or find the answer.
Right. I agree. 100%. And, with Visiting Nurses Association, we have so many different avenues by which we are doing things. We have the visiting physicians. Okay. We do now work with pediatrics.
Oh, really?
Yes, sir.
Excellent.
So, we're going from when you are a child and you need medical assistance to all the way when you are a senior and you need assistance. And even in between, someone under the age of 65, we are able to take care of. We're able to do work from a physical therapy standpoint, speech therapy.
Right.
So we're
through
able to,
insurance.
exactly. So the thing about it, Pat, that I love about the VNA is that we are very versatile. We do a lot of different things, but at the same time, we want to work with other organizations in the community because it's not just us. And I've said it to someone before. If the VNA was not as popular, as strong, after being here for 44 years in this community, I would have a problem with that.
Yeah.
However, they are strong. They are versatile. We do so much for other organizations here. And again, we don't want to get the pat on the back. We simply want to do.
And they're a 501c3 nonprofit organization, which surprised me because I didn't realize that.
So, and
it means a lot.
Yeah, it does. It means a lot. And I just simply want to continue. This gives me another level to be very, very transparent about who I am and the organization that I work for. And we do a good job. That's the bottom line. We go out here and we try to make sure that we do a good job every single day. If we can't do it, we're going to find somebody who can do it for you. That's it. We're not going to just try to hold on to something just to hold on to it so that someone else doesn't get it.
Well, because we're depriving that person with a need.
Absolutely.
Until if we can't do it, gee, we're not going to tell them who else can do it.
Right.
It's not a good reflection on our business. Yes, it is. When I did a stint at nursing home placements and admissions and marketing, and we had a situation. A lady came to me, and her husband had been in the building about 4 or 5 months. They didn't like it. I don't gotta move. We're gonna get out of here. I said, tell you what. Why don't I call 3 or 4 nursing home personnel to come over and evaluate your husband? That way, if you're going to make a decision, we'll jump that step. Then she said, you would do that for me. I said, look, I know you're not happy. I want you to leave this building with a smile. That somebody did help you.
Yeah.
Well, she went up, as it turned out, she went to Palm Garden.
Mm,
Terry
yeah.
Clark was there. So I called Terry and I said, "Do you got the patient?" She said, "Yes." I said, "Now you owe me one." That's
Uh,
that's
yes.
competition.
Yes.
Yeah. All right. On this laughter, let's take a few minutes and do our commercials for our sponsors. And here we are back on the forum. On this, today is a real weird day. It's 2/20/20,
Mm,
right?
2020. Yes.
2/20/20, and this is on Saturday. It's going to be 2/22/20.
Man, that's be a good.
This driving me. I was typing this morning, and I thought, oh, those twos in there. And somebody told me when you write a check, don't put 2/20/20,
Right.
because they can put 2001, 20. So you have to
Exactly.
put the 4 digits, 2020
Yeah.
at the end.
I heard the same thing, and it
Oh,
makes a
wow.
lot of sense.
Yeah, it does.
But do I do it? No.
No. Well, I have to do it. If I have to do it, I have to
Yeah.
do it.
Okay.
All right. VNA,
Yes.
44 years in existence, nonprofit organization, has been embedded deeply in this community for many, many years, has an excellent reputation. And that's what you want a business to be. You know, if we were to say, okay, let's judge all the organizations that provide Medicare, Medicaid, Medicare, rehab, special services in the community, and we judge them on longevity.
Mhm.
It's got to be number one.
Yeah,
Got to be number
absolutely.
one. And if we were to judge nursing homes, there'd probably be a tie between Aberdeen Russell in Fort Pierce and uh, Stewart Rehabilitation Center.
Yeah, the ones that have been around for a long time. Yeah.
When I was on Ombudsman, people say, "What do I look for? What do I do?" I said, first of all, check the staff, see what the longevity of the nurses and the CNAs are.
Mhm.
Now they've had nurses that have been there 30 years, CNAs 28 years. What does it say about service? You know, what if you only have a 6-month turnaround on all the staff? What does that say about service? So those things are important. I say, forget pretty. If your mother has dementia, she's not going to notice the pretty. You are.
Yeah.
Let's notice the pretty services.
Exactly.
What can you do and how can they do it best?
Yeah, I agree. You know, Pat, when I got into this industry, there was a person who told me, you're going to run into things that you've never run into before. And the young lady said to me, she said, when you go into these places, use your eyes and your nose and your ears. Get those three senses on one accord. Because if you walk into a place and it doesn't have the best smell, okay, that's kind of like a flag for you. You don't know what's going on. But if you go in there back to back to back to back and you get that same thing, then there's something not being done.
Right.
And then when you use your eyes and you look around and you see things not being maintained, simple things, hallways, baseboards, you got different, let's see, insects around, you know, that's not being done.
Right.
And then when you have employees who may be, always seems to be in a bad mood.
Oh, you think?
Yeah. And they're always yelling to each other up and down the hall. It's not a good look. It's not a good feel.
No.
If you can imagine a patient who's not feeling well in her bed at 6 o'clock in the morning, trying to sleep, and you have people yelling up and down the hallways.
True.
The compassion.
Or a person who, for 89 years, took a shower at or bath at 9 o'clock in the morning, and now suddenly she's on a little gurney at 6, being wheeled down the hallway.
Yeah, exactly. So there are a lot of things that you really need to look at when you are, one, searching for a community for your loved ones, and then also feeling comfortable when you leave that your loved ones are being taken care of when you're not on site.
Right.
Because a lot of these folks, as you know, Pat, they don't have family here, or they may not have any family at all. And that's one of the things with the VNA, being able to have kind and courteous staff that we do have. And, VNA being an agency, and all the employees working directly for us, all the employees, we are responsible for everything that they do, even with the training. When we have someone that comes in and they begin to work with the VNA, training is being done in-house. Not only does the person come to the table, of course, with those qualifications, but there's additional training being done. You can't just hire someone and they have the level 2, they have this piece of certification and that piece of certification, and you just push them out there, and then it's between the family and the caregiver.
Right.
And you as a company has nothing to do with it.
Exactly.
We are always involved. We are always involved.
Mm-hmm.
That's why we do also have the care management piece to our company. So we have someone who's willing to go in and make sure that things are properly being done, making sure that the medications that are there are the medications that should be there, making sure that things in the house are being taken care of. So with the VNA, we go so much more above and beyond with what we do with our patients. And the other part about the patient is the family. We get the family involved. And sometimes when you just go in and take care of someone and the family says, okay, you got it, and they're gone, we keep the family involved. I know myself, I like to make contact with the family. I like to speak with them about what's going on. Or what is it that you don't like that your mother or dad may not be telling us, but they're telling you? We need to know, because we can't get it right unless we know.
And you hire your own staff.
Yes.
You don't contract out.
Yes, we don't contract out. No,
Okay.
they're not independent contractors.
And you have to see, you were touching on something earlier about sometimes the conditions in a place seem to deteriorate a little bit. Working in any group like that, especially with people, is like mowing the lawn.
Yes, sir.
The lawn looks horrible. You mow the lawn, look, it looks great. A couple of weeks later, it looks horrible again.
Yeah.
That's why you have to have the constant in-service.
Yes.
Oh, we talked about that before. Yes, but we're not doing it. So we're going to be reminding us this is how we're going to do it.
Absolutely.
Because maybe you didn't listen the first time.
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely.
When I used to zing people. When I was an ombudsman, I was in charge of doing resident rights in all the nursing homes in the 3-county area. And I would go in and say, okay, we're going to review this. It's kind of boring to go through this, but we had to go through all the rights. And I said, at the end of this talk, I'm going to tell you how to be the most perfect employee ever. Okay. So we'd go through everything. And finally, somebody raised their hands. What do you got to tell us? I said, simple, 2 things. Number 1, do the job they trained you to do. And number 2, treat everyone like your grandmother and your grandfather.
There you go.
What else?
Absolutely. I mean,
what else is there?
There is nothing else, Pat. The main thing about it is that I see shortcuts being taken. And in this industry, when you're taking care of someone, there should be no shortcuts. There should be no shortcuts. In our company, we do the Medicare, and we do the private, and we do also with the pediatrics. But we are not making excuses for something not being done. I'm a firm believer in saying everything may not be right when we go in there. We may not do something 100% of the time right every time, but we will address it. It's all in how you clean that thing up. Yeah. And also not just cleaning it up, Pat. You have to improve on it so it doesn't happen again.
Right. And a lot of times it might be 1 out of 100 people.
Yeah.
1 out of 100 staff or 2 out of 100 staff that's causing a problem. Everybody else has sweat on their brow. They're working hard. They're really doing wonderful things for people. And so it's really hard to isolate that number. It isn't as great as you might imagine it to be. Okay.
Yeah, I would say so.
And plus you have a cute little pamphlet. I see we're giving me 5% today. 5% for what?
Well, it's less than that. It's 0.005. And this is the thing. When I look at any of the agencies or nurse registries out here, and I speak to any of the family members, one thing comes up quite often, if not every single time. Well, what do I need to do? Because I have this in my home, I have that in my home, and I have to lock this up and lock that up. Well, it's a reality that, all companies go through having, like you said, 1 or 2 bad apples that may cause some type of theft. Our rate, our percentage in terms of having any theft incidents happen is 0.005. And
it's 1 out of every 200.
There you go.
1 out of every 200.
And the best thing about that number that I just gave you, we address even that 0.005 to get the patient and the family to a satisfactory place again, to understand that, we may have had 1 bad apple that did this, but we have so many more in the apple barrel that are great. They're the best looking apple that you can get, and they do a wonderful job.
Well, just let me give you let me give you what VNA caregivers do. They help in reducing falls and safety management. They do movement disorder care, Alzheimer's memory care, dementia monitoring, respite care, bathing, dressing, and grooming, walking, moving, and transferring, meal planning, preparation, and feeding, light cleaning, laundry, and errands, exercising, range of motion, companionship, and enjoyable activities, nursing, and skilled care. Wow.
Absolutely.
Wow.
And I feel very proud to be working with this organization. Um, knowing that we can even take care of someone who is not of the age of Medicare. We will take the commercial insurance for someone who is under the age of 65, who is still working, but they need therapy and they want therapy at home. We'll do that. We have a private side that will take care of those features.
Where did VNA start?
It's here in Stewart.
Here in Stewart.
Yeah.
And now they're in 21 counties.
Yep.
Over 400 employees.
Yeah.
All the way to Pasco County, Hillsborough County. Where's Hernando County?
That's on the West Coast,
Oh,
a little
okay.
bit up from.
In Marion County?
Yeah.
See, everybody says, oh, VNA, that's just a little local thing.
No, not at all. And we have an office down in West Palm as well.
Mhm.
So, we are a large company, but I really know that they truly mean what they say when they say our family caring for yours. That's what we do. We care for someone else's family, and we
Right.
take pride in doing it.
And as long as that patient, that person, let's talk about person,
Yes.
as long as that person is able to stay in their home,
Hmm.
this is the best alternative.
Yeah.
That you have somebody in there concerning safety skills. I mean, I remember when we were discharging a person from the nursing home rehab to home, we sent OTs out there to do a home assessment
Hmm.
to see if there were knives on the counter,
Right.
to see if the hallways were wide enough,
Right.
looking at the throw rugs and stuff like that.
Absolutely.
And these are all the things that you do. You go in there and make an assessment.
Yeah.
You go to the home and make an assessment.
Absolutely.
And we're going to look for all these things that may or may not be a barrier.
Right.
You
And Pat, I'm gonna tell you, going out to visit a potential client, potential family for the services that they're asking us for is the best feeling that I get when I in this job that I have. Because for me to go out and sit with a family and be face to face and speak with them about what we're doing and what we're able to do, how we can help them, it's such a look of relief on their face that someone is speaking to them face to face as opposed to on the phone.
Right.
I'd much
Right.
rather be right in their face to tell them what we're going to do and find out anything else that I need to know while I'm there in the home. I can give them some type of discussion to have with their family member to let them know, look, someone's going to be in here that you don't know, but they're going to be taking care of you. But you're in the best hands.
Mhm.
And that's the way that I feel about this.
See, what I usually would recommend if somebody's going to have someone have home care, let's say a daughter who's, whether she's working or not, at the point, but she's not going to be the caregiver,
Mhm.
to go and sit in on the first couple of sessions.
Absolutely.
Go and watch to see what the government's paying for.
Yeah.
So watch to
absolutely.
see what's happening here.
Absolutely.
She may have some insights. Mom really doesn't, that kind of thing. Doesn't like that kind of food or whatever.
Right.
You can ward off. But there's nothing wrong. We don't do anything in
No.
secret.
No, absolutely not. If anything,
And if
we
you
are
have somebody watching you, you're going to be bouncier.
But we're open. We're open to making sure that the family understands that we are doing the best job that they can get someone to do in their home for their loved ones.
Right.
So, again, VNA being here as long as we have been here, having the connection with Cleveland Martin. Martin Memorial, of course, has been here for
Forever.
years,
Yeah, also.
forever. And so that partnership that we do have, it's a mutual relationship, mutual respect. They know that we're here. They know that we're going to be on top of every patient that they send to us. They know that we're going to have that open communication with their case management to let them know what's going on with their patient. And again, I can't say it enough. It's a great organization to be a part of, especially when you know that they have all of these other entities out here. They have the Grand Oaks. They have three different
Well,
assisted living facilities here.
Grand Oaks was one on Jensen Beach Boulevard, one in Palm City, and one
Yes,
in Okeechobee.
and one in
I
Okeechobee.
knew that.
So we are we are very diverse as a company, but it's all surrounding healthcare and the best care that your family member can get.
And for many, many years, they did a great service with that air show.
Yes,
That was
yes.
fantastic.
And I'll say, Pat, you know, being in this community for as long as they have been here, they do have a large footprint here. And I can only say that I'm very proud of what they've done. I'm very proud of what they mean to this community. And again, I can't say it enough. They don't boast about doing this and doing that and doing the other.
Mhm.
Yeah, the air show was great when it happened, but now we are the Christmas parade.
Right,
That
right,
we
right.
handle the whole
Right
Christmas
down
parade right here.
East Ocean Boulevard.
Exactly. So we want to continue to do for our community here.
And that's the wonderful thing when I see it. I see that communities reach out or businesses reach out to help the community. Reagan said something at the time, it didn't hit me, but it hit me later. Reagan said, don't ask your government, ask your neighbor.
Hmm.
You get a
I
grant
agree.
for a parade, okay?
Yeah.
And you have to spend $5,000 for all the safety features, etc.
Hmm.
And the grant dries up, but you can't have the parade anymore
Yeah.
because you don't have the $5,000 to do it.
Yeah.
If you had local sponsors,
Hmm.
the parade would go on forever.
Absolutely.
You know, that's the whole thing.
Yeah. But we have a good time. And at that parade, all the staff at the VNA is involved. It's not like we're grabbing.
Mhm.
The staff inside of that office down there on
They're out
Monterey,
there.
everyone's involved. I mean, it's a long day for everyone when it happens, but it's so enjoyable to see the smiles on all these families' faces as you're
Yeah,
going
yeah.
down the street.
Well, I don't know about other America, but Martin and St. Lucie County certainly respond to special events.
Yes, absolutely.
They turn
Absolutely,
out.
we do.
They're like
Yeah.
the fair and the air show and boat show and the neat things that are happening. You get tons and tons of people.
Yeah,
Which is good.
absolutely, absolutely. And I can't leave this I can't leave not saying these are probably some of the safest communities on the Treasure Coast.
Well, we get accolades from national sources.
Yes, absolutely,
Being in one of the safest
Absolutely.
places in the country to live.
absolutely.
What else?
Fastest growing city,
Fastest growing city.
right? And
We're
you
the
know-
second or third largest city.
yeah, in terms of the folks who live here and everything, I really look at our police departments here. They're great. I mean, I enjoy all the different things that our police department and stewards doing. They do a lot for the elderly. They let them know when scams are going on. They let them know when certain things are happening in their community. And the same thing in Port St. Lucie. So it's a wonderful thing to have this cohesiveness with your first responders in
Mhm.
both cities, with your city government in both cities, because you can tell there's a lot of construction going on here. We're growing
Well,
in a good way.
another agency, Alzheimer's Community Care,
Yes,
has the HUGS program,
yes. Oh,
which
that's
is
so great.
help, understanding,
Mhm.
guidance, and safety.
Safety. Yes.
Now, all the police, all the firemen,
Yep.
all these businesses are being trained
Yes.
in the HUGS thing.
Yeah.
And they get a sticker to put, on their car, on their whatever, I'm HUGS trained, meaning I'm aware of.
Exactly.
And we've gone a long way from the fact that we'd go to dinner and I'd hand the waiter a card saying, my loved one has a memory problem.
Mhm.
Be patient.
Right.
We've gone farther and farther away. And businesses now are lining up
That's right. They
To
actually
get-
are. They are definitely
to
lining
get
up.
trained in that area. That's a little background music for
Okay.
me. Thank you.
But yeah, the HUGS program is a wonderful thing. I was involved in it when before it got started. to do a commercial with them. But the whole idea of having a sticker on a restaurant that says that you have been trained through the Hugs program, it says a lot. That those folks inside of that restaurant or that establishment have been trained on how to be patient with the Alzheimer dementia community.
Yeah, true. And any kind of handicapping condition, and people. I'll go back many years ago. I was running what's called a lost cord club
Mhm.
for people who had laryngectomies, had
Okay.
their vocal cords removed, and several of them were working in factories. So we would go to the factories and do an in-service on everybody how to do first aid and safety for a
Mhm.
neck breather.
Okay.
I mean, that's strange, but what if something happened in that guy's shift in front of a bunch of people?
Right.
They could save a life.
Right.
Easily save
Absolutely.
a life.
Absolutely.
So whenever you have that, then that's like putting ramps up in buildings or those kinds of things. It's maybe not very many people would use them, but it's the ideal thing. So everyone can
Absolutely.
use something.
Absolutely.
You know,
I agree 100%, Pat. And I'll even say with us, if there's anyone out there that has a situation that they're going through and they just need to speak to someone and they want to get some information, you are always able to contact the VNA.
let's get the phone number.
Okay, you can definitely reach us at area code 772-286-1844. Okay, you can give us a call and we'll try to guide you in the right direction. If we can help you, we will help you. If you need me to come out and visit with your family, to speak with you about what we're able to do for your loved one with whatever they're going through, if you need our services, please don't hesitate to give us a call.
And if you have a question, don't go around asking people who keep saying, I don't know. Find somebody who does know.
Absolutely.
Cut the chase a little bit.
Yes,
And
absolutely.
it doesn't cost anything to talk to somebody.
Not at
You're
all.
not on the clock.
That's right. That's it.
And if you need information takes the fear away from it.
Absolutely.
Anything.
Don't be afraid.
The more you know about it, the less fear you're going to have about it.
Yes, absolutely.
Well, James, we have managed to kill an hour very quickly.
That was fast. Wow. I always enjoy being around you, Pat, but man, that went by quickly.
Yeah, but this is as long as we've spent together in a long time. I had to count him to come on the radio so we could have a nice chat. Well, thank you. We will again be back next week with another feature on the Forum.